It's that time of the week yet again when we share with you foreign media coverage of events related to Korea. I have Kim Sung-yeon here in the studio with me. Sung-yeon, welcome back.
Great to see you, Sunny. Okay, so this week we'll be talking about Korea's plan to build a sustainable floating city in Busan, which the foreign media looked into. Also, self-driving taxis that are currently being tested here in Seoul. And on the economic front, the Bank of Korea's move toward policy normalization, of course, following the interest rate hike from last week. And finally, yet another Korean-made Netflix hit, Hellbound. So let's dive right in. Korea is planning to build the world's first floating city that is hurricane-proof, flood-proof, and self-sustaining. The United Nations-backed project will be constructed off the coast of Busan. The floating city was designed as a response to rising sea levels and is expected to be completed by 2025. According to Business Insider, the project designers said they're envisioning a flood-proof city that can produce its own food and water. The ultimate goal is to create a community able to withstand a Category 5 hurricane for 10,000 residents. The plan was first discussed at a UN table by a group of engineers and architects, and the city of Busan agreed to host the floating city in collaboration with project designer Oceanics and the UN Human Settlement Program. While the design has yet to be finalized, Oceanics said it would collaborate with Korean architects to suit the needs of the local environment. While the project has been hailed by much of the foreign media, it is facing a serious hurdle here in Korea as the budget for the project was cut in full by the City Council Standing Committee just on Wednesday. Busan's Urban Environment Committee has requested more details on the plan to be submitted if it is to be pushed ahead.
Right, I see. Meanwhile, here in the capital city, Sung-yeon, I hear we have self-driving taxis now.
Yeah, autonomous taxis. It's a pilot service for the time being. So Seoul unveiled the city's first robot taxi on Monday as part of its ambitious plan to adopt more autonomous vehicles over the course of the next 5 years. So according to UPI, Korea has its eyes on becoming a world leader in the future mobility industry, not just in the field of electric cars and autonomous driving, but also hydrogen-powered vehicles and flying cars. And on Monday, Seoul Mayor Oh Se-hun, he became the first passenger of the new robot taxis after attending a ceremony to launch the pilot service with a fleet of 3 self-driving sedans. Seoul plans to introduce this service to more parts of the city in 2022, hoping to deploy fully automated robot taxis in Gangnam and driverless buses in the downtown area. By 2026, Seoul expects to have more than 300 self-driving vehicles on the roads at a cost of $125 million.
Right, and that is something I'm actually looking forward to, Sung-yeon. Now, there's also been a vote of confidence for decisive moves by the central bank here.
Yes, so I actually came across an interesting article on the Forbes. It was written by a senior economics contributor to Forbes, and he actually says that Fed officials would be wise to learn a few lessons from their peers abroad, namely Korea in this case. So the Bank of Korea raised interest rates last week for the second time since August, and Forbes praised Korea's central bank for backing up its words with clear action. In contrast, the piece was quite critical of the U.S. Fed, saying that while Powell's team continues to debate whether current inflation in the U.S. is transitory or long-term, the Bank of Korea took no chances by acting decisively. So Forbes described the latest decision by Governor Lee Ju-yeol as a last call to Korean lawmakers on the issue of runaway household debt and other imbalances as well. The article says the BOK rate hike could be the right warning signal that the local economy needs and also a lesson for the U.S. Fed.
Right, I see. So let's end our talk today with the ongoing hype, like you mentioned, over the Korean drama Hellbound.
Yes, Hellbound has been all the buzz in the foreign media as well this week. After dethroning especially Squid Game on the Netflix charts, the dark fantasy thriller was released 2 weeks ago and within just days became the most streamed show on Netflix. So Hellbound is captivating global viewers, with CNN saying it's the next Squid Game, while The Guardian even saying that it is much more than that. In fact, The Guardian evaluates that Hellbound is a truly exceptional drama series that could be talked about even a decade later. The Guardian's review also says even though the content is less pleasing perhaps to the eyes as compared to Squid Game, since it holds a much darker theme, the storyline is very well written, hence Hellbound is well worth watching.
All right, Sangyeon, as always, thank you very much for that coverage.
The pleasure is mine.